Hello, beautiful soul family, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided transformation and empowerment. I am your host, Dearjames, and together with the unseen, Spirit, Source, and Symphony, we look at the current energies, at the divine wisdom and guidance, and we go as guided. And like every week so far on this journey, it is action-packed, and the energies keep flowing, or as Pam Youngins from North Point Journal says, the parade continues. So, yes, it is St. Valentine's Day, celebrated around the world, this day of love. We are going to focus with the unseen on celestial love, divine love, courtly love, a higher octave, a higher version, and a higher and deeper meaning of love while we're looking at everything in totality. So, let's jump in and just bring up the main energies that we're dealing with. It is 2/14/2024. The 2 is the receptive. It is the divine feminine. It is to reflect. 14, great possessing, shine. So we have this innate ability within us, this innate love, this innate wisdom and light. And so this is that great possessing, and we are meant to radiate it outward. It's an 8-year all year long, so it's about uniting, coming together, the internal pieces of us, the internal aspects with the external. And this can be individually, soul self and ego, mind, personality self, as well as how we interact with the greater community at large. Because again, remember, Aquarian age, it's about we the people. It is about uniting. All of the numbers become a 15, which is about authenticity and balance. It is about showing up in the right way, in the right octave. And the right way and the right octave is your authentic self. And that brings about balance. And last but not least, the 1 and the 5 become a 6. We had that 2 years ago, this 6, this conflict and destiny, but this letting go of conflict. Let go of conflict. Because again, when we're in our heart space, when we are radiating from that center, that octave, that chord, we are authentic. We are in harmony and balance. It's when we're outside of that octave, that chakra, when we're outside of that energetic space, it's not pretty. We see it around the world, love versus hate. And often love is innate, hate is a learned behavior. So our natural core element, love. Now, we're going to jump forward for a minute. I'm just going to bring up what our main theme is, and then we're going to come back to it. But I want to put it up at the top, at the front of the show. Welcome, Alicia. It's this beautiful image of a hot air balloon in the shape of a heart. And our main theme is bring me a higher love with love is in the air. And so there's this entire, and remember, here we are, Aquarius. It's air. It's a fixed air element. Love is in the air. And then bring me a higher love. See, this is about not settling. This is about reaching higher, reaching for the stars. It's a higher love. It's a higher mission. It's a higher octave. And so this is the theme for today. And this is going to permeate out because the personal planets are conjuncting. First we had, I believe, the moon or the sun, then the moon, or vice versa. Then we had Mercury. Just yesterday, we had Mars, and coming up, I believe on Saturday, we have Venus. All the personal planets conjuncting Pluto at that 0 degree in Aquarius, this fixed air sign. And so bring me a higher love, and love is in the air. So we're going to jump forward. I'm going to share my screen with you all, and we're going to jump right into the astrology of it, because we want to look at Pam Youngins' North Point Journal. And she says, the parade continues. Following in Mercury's footsteps, Mars and Venus both enter Aquarius this week and immediately conjoin Pluto. While a Mars-Pluto conjunction happens every 2 years and a Venus-Pluto conjunction occurs annually, this will be the first time these 2 planets have aligned, meaning Mars and Pluto, will be the first time these 2 planets have aligned with Pluto in Aquarius in more than 200 years. Let's take these events one at a time. And I apologize, it's both Mars and Venus. And she goes on to say, Mars, the planet of energy, action, and desire. Pluto, the planet of transformation and power, death and rebirth. Aquarius, the sign of social progress, nonconformity, radicalism, rebellion. By itself, Mars in Aquarius corresponds with a need to be independent, to be free to do, and strong action to any pressure to conform. Attempts to manipulate or coerce are likely to provoke anger and even aggression. So this is all resistance, a stubborn resistance. So she says there is a stubborn resistance to being told what to do and a strong reaction. So it may provoke anger and aggression. Mars and Pluto. Given the intense natures of both Mars and Pluto, it is of course fairly easy to imagine the various scenarios that could unfold when they join forces this week, exact on Tuesday, February 13th, yesterday. And in truth, we may be dealing with situations that ignite our passions at this time. Displays of force, compulsive actions, a strong drive for power are all possible. But what about the other, more positive side of this planetary pairing? In astrology, Pluto is called the higher octave of Mars. Whereas Mars represents the ego and personal will, Pluto symbolizes divine will and our alignment with a higher mission. So you see this higher octave, higher mission, bring me a higher love. It is for us to recognize we are worthy. You are worthy of a higher octave of love. We often tend to get lost in the shadow elements of earthly love, meaning between two individuals and so forth, familial love, relationship love, and so forth, as opposed to recognizing this higher octave of love, which is what we all are from. We are born from this higher octave of love. And so the message from the unseen is saying, reach, bring me a higher love, higher mission, higher love, higher octave. I'm going to go back to Pam Youngin's North Point Journal. When these two planets conjoin in Aquarius, Mars and Pluto, the drive to be on purpose and to contribute to societal change is heightened. Power struggles can arise, and of course, when individuals have differing ideas about what that change should look like and how it should manifest, the challenge will be to channel the urge to transform and to renovate in life-affirming ways. This is respond, don't react. That is supported by a higher perspective and the Aquarian ideals of individual freedom, equality, and humanitarianism. Venus and Pluto, this is coming up on Saturday. The planet of Venus is the namesake of the goddess of love and beauty. Her realm includes relationships and affections, values and finances, the creative arts, and the enjoyment of physical pleasures. As Venus enters Aquarius this Friday, our motivations in these areas may subtly shift. Aquarius is in an unconventional sign for its need for authenticity, independence, and freedom. While Venus transits the sign, we may become more clearly aware of what we personally need in a relationship versus what others or society may expect of us. Authenticity, being your authentic self. It's a higher octave, this higher mission, higher octave, higher everything in regards to love, self-love. Saturday's alignment between Venus and Pluto focuses our attention on what we love and what we value. It can correspond with being attracted to a new love interest, or it may bring new passion into an existing relationship. The need for depth, honesty, and intimacy is heightened. We are not content with anything that is superficial or less than true, either in love or in other Venus-related areas of our lives. The main cautions with this conjunction are to be aware of any tendency to be demanding, jealous, or controlling. And with the drive to connect and to possess being exceptionally strong, it is possible to be drawn into a situation or a purchase, because Venus rules money and objects and so forth, that we might not otherwise become involved in if we were, quote, in our right minds. So I love this because we leap off with this awareness that here's Mars, actionary, ego mind, divine masculine, and here's Venus, divine feminine, love, beauty, things we value. And they are the last two personal planets to conjunct Pluto in Aquarius in 200 plus years. So you can see, as Pam Youngins is using the phrase, the parade continues in this parade of planets. Our personal planets are parading, advancing into the future, into this octave, this higher love, this higher realm of existence, of being. And they are, what the unseen is saying is they are imploring us, but they're also demanding that we lift up. Our mantra comes from the song. I'm just going to jump to it very quickly. Our mantra is, "You raise me up." It's the beautiful Josh Groban song, "You raise me up to stand on mountains." And I'll post that in the show comments on Facebook after the show. The poignancy of the words is that God, Spirit, Source, Symphony, the all that is, you, the divine mother, the divine feminine, the divine patriarchal masculine, you raise me up so that I can stand on mountains. And you see the radiating light shooting out from around the individual with their arms raised. And welcome, Alicia. Welcome, Jennifer. And so this is what the unseen is imploring us. Rise up, higher octave. Now, here's what's very interesting. So we're going to go back to courtly love and celestial love, godly love, if you will. And I want to bring up the aspects about this. So it's our main theme, bring me a higher love. Love is in the air. And then we're going to talk about how this plays in the sense that, so here's Colossians 3:12, and it says, "Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience." See, they're chosen people, holy and dearly loved. It's a higher octave. It is like the greatest expression of love. And as we look at this with Venus, and I'm going to show you the chart in a moment, the Sabian symbol that corresponds to where, this is the chart I'll be showing you. Just bring it up here in a minute. There we go. So as you look at this, the degree that Venus is at, and this is for the Mars-Pluto conjunction of yesterday. Pilgrims climbing the steep steps leading to a mountain shrine. The ascent of the individualized consciousness to the highest realizations reached by the spiritual leaders of its culture. So there's an ascent. There's this highest realization. You'll notice the theme. Everything is higher. We hear a great deal now about peak experiences, but this symbol tells us that they depend to a very great extent upon following a path that may have been trod before, under the inspiration of the great teachers and sages of our race. The shrine is built by the unceasing dedication of perhaps generations of men and women, humankind. The pilgrimage is hallowed by the devotion of many, even though each person finds on their own mountaintop what to them seems a unique and transcendent revelation. This is about the fact that we stand on the shoulders of giants, that everything that we are experiencing has been building, crescendoing, working up to this moment. It says, in this second stage symbol, we witness the rise of the human consciousness. The preceding symbol spoke of what one may picture as the descent of the energies of nature, which, like water, flow down toward a lower level of intensity. It is man-woman's supreme task to rise like fire, impelled by a vision they share with their companions. The key word is upreaching. So it's reaching up, reaching higher, believing that you are worthy of that and settling for nothing less. Because if you don't believe it, how will anybody else believe it? If you don't resonate at that level, at that octave, at that higher expression of love, who else will do it with you or for you? It won't. It will. They will mirror you. Anybody that comes, person, places, things, it will mirror us at that level. So that's Venus, and she's coming up on Friday/Saturday. So let's just go back to this astrological chart, and this was something that was really fascinating. So again, this is the Mars conjunction Pluto and Aquarius natal chart. And for the first time with the unseen, in the intuitive messages that were received, they paired this up with this chart. And so, if you will, you'll see that kind of almost directly to the left and slightly below the horizon line, just slightly down, you'll see the red symbol for Aries. And you will see that the moon, Chiron, the wounded healer, and the north node are all conjunct at 14, 16, and 18 degrees respectively. Now, we are then going to, and what they said, what the unseen said was, what has been hidden gets revealed. That has to do with the moon. It gets healed. That has to do with Chiron. So what has been hidden gets revealed. It gets healed. That's Chiron. And then they said a new direction with 3 exclamation points. And that has to do with the north node, because the north node is where humanity is going. So the Sabian symbols for the moon, an Indian weaving a ceremonial blanket, projecting into everyday living the realization of wholeness and fulfillment. In Christian tradition, one hears of Jesus's seamless robe. In Asia, one is told of the spiritual vesture of the perfect ones. The man and woman who has attained the spiritual state is figuratively robed in the universe, and more precisely in the Milky Way, the great white robe of interwoven stars. This is the ultimate kind of weaving. There was also Penelope's weaving and unweaving, waiting for the return of her polarizing mate. The mind of the American woman in which these symbols, this American channel, Elsie Wheeler, in which these symbols took concrete form, could think only of Indian weavers. For the white man who was hungering for symbols of a state of living in total harmony with the universe, the traditional Indian can be glamorized as the answer to the inner emptiness of the city dweller with artificial values. It means that the Indian, the Native American Indian, and the Indian weavers can summon this connection, this weaving, this interaction with spirit, source, symphony, all that is, with the Great Spirit. At any rate, we may thus prefigure a future state of fulfillment. So we may prefigure a future state of fulfillment in conscious harmony and non-possessive love. It's pure love. It is the permeation of the purity of love. It is not possessive love. It is not one over the other. It is not a shadow aspect of love. And this symbol comes to the consciousness of the inquirer after meaning, deliberately or through an aleatory act of revelation, like the act of throwing sticks to obtain an I Ching symbol. Implied is the profound fact that every individual has his or her ultimate conscious task, the weaving of his or her immortal body, your rainbow light body, your soul self body, your container, and this far out and far out. So it may seem mystical and far out, but this Gnostic robe of glory, which may seem mystical and far out, but there is a moment in every cycle when, however small a degree, each individual may be confronted with potentiality of fulfilling acts of self-realization, and may ever so relatively find themselves clothed in light, just if nothing for an instant. So this is about fulfillment of desire, higher desire. I know that the symbols can be weighty in their explanation or technical. However, they're so poignant and on point, because the message here is we're taking this moment of fulfillment and we're clothing ourselves in divine love. We're raising ourselves up out of the human octave of love, or the earthly octave of love, and robing ourselves with celestial divine love. And that invokes authenticity, harmony, balance, purity, goodness. There's so many things about this that are revelatory in this. Bring me a higher love. And it's as if God is saying, bring me a higher love. I offer it. It's bestowed upon all of humanity, 8 billion humans. Reach higher. Bring me a higher love. Rise up to meet me, to greet me, that we might robe ourselves in a higher love. Chiron, the wounded healer. 2 dignified spinsters sitting in silence. The ability to transform a natural lack of potency into poise and inner beauty. This is when, and this symbol basically says, it reveals a contrasting potentiality of experience, which can also be seen to complete or polarize the symbol. It's inward withdrawal. What this is talking about is when we fall from when our ego mind personality is saying to us, we've fallen. And remember, Chiron is the wounded healer. So this is going to be healed. What has been hidden gets revealed and healed. A new direction emerges. It's a new direction. So in this, it's like anywhere we've felt less than, anywhere we may have not fulfilled our greatest potential, that we didn't rise up. This is a dignified inward withdrawal that allows us to come back into harmony, because that inward withdrawal means we're connecting with soul source connection, with your soul, with your divinity, with divine love. You are no longer buying into the illusion of quote unquote earthly love, ego mind personality love. Last but not least, North Node, the magic carpet of Asian imagery, the use of creative imagination. The unseen has been saying to us a whole new world, a whole new way of being, deliverance, all of these messages, and that message has been in the making for 2,000 plus years. A way of life refusing a hectic involvement in social competition and waste-producing overproduction allows for the development of unattached and transcendent understanding. The static floor, the carpet, the magic carpet on which man's feet, symbols of understanding, rest can become transformed into the means for great flights of imagination and super physical perception. This means we're seeing well above, quote unquote, our station, meaning our earthbound or human nature. This is speaking to our celestial ability. Reach for the stars, that we're in the stars. The period of rest from outwardly directed activity bound to collective normality presents the creative mind with the possibility of surveying in dreams the totality of the present day social situation, thus to see the whole, pierce the illusion, pierce the veil, look beyond. We're going to see the whole of it. And remember, what has been hidden gets revealed and healed. So things in our personal lives, to bring this down, I got the Lady Jacqueline in my head, to bring this, to ground this, these personal relationships we've had in our lives, these personal, whether it's familial, intimate, friendships, platonic, it doesn't matter. The point will be that we will be able to see the whole. We will see the whole, WHOLE, we will see the whole of it, the totality. And things will be, and they're saying like, boom, in a snap, in a nanosecond, what's revealed is healed, and it affords a new direction. This symbol with the North Node, where we're going, invokes the possibility of developing a new technique of perception, a strife transcending an unattached outlook upon everyday reality. It means our perception, our reality is going to change. It means we will be able to see things anew, differently. And yes, we've been waiting and waiting and waiting. However, the unseen, here it is. Next up, they said, and just bringing up the chart again, we're going to go slightly further down on the left side of the wheel, and you'll see the red symbol for Jupiter and the green symbol for Uranus. And they said, think big. That has to do with Jupiter. And then they said, dream bigger with 3 exclamation points. That's Uranus. And then they brought the attention to Jupiter, the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that's coming up in April, on the 20th of April. And what was so funny about this was then they said Christmas comes early, or Christmas can come early. And so that statement, Christmas comes early, means when something good happens, especially if it was unexpected, to receive some good news, a gift, or a pleasant surprise. So what the unseen is saying is, think big, Jupiter, dream bigger, Uranus. And this upcoming April 20th date where these two conjunct in Taurus, it's earthly, it's tangible. And they're saying that Christmas, these type of unexpected joys and pleasures and advancements and relationships and things coming together, can come early or come early. So the Sabian symbol for Jupiter and the Uranus conjunction is that white dove flying over troubled waters, the spiritual inspiration that comes to the individual in the overcoming of crisis. Here we also are confronted with a symbol of guidance, and the dove flying over troubled waters reminds one of the story of Noah and the ark. Noah met his and mankind's crisis courageously and in complete obedience to God's promptings. Soul source connection, true north, going as guided, listening to your soul source connection and going as guided. The test completed, Noah received the dove's message. It is a message from the Holy Spirit announcing a new dispensation. They just said a new direction, a new dispensation. This symbolic scene can be applied to personal crises resulting from emotional upheavals or from the eruption of unconscious forces and impulses into the consciousness. So meaning our own personal, trials and tribulations and challenges and experiences, these can apply. And thereby, they said, if the crisis has been faced in the right spirit, meaning we don't look outwardly, we don't look to blame and shame and demean and oppress others. We look at the character in our play reflecting back to us to ask so that we may see ourselves more clearly and then be able to say, all right, got it. That's right spirit. And it says this second stage symbol contrasts with the preceding one because here it is not the product of a culture, a book, but instead the rhythm of cosmic, God-ordained cycles that reveals its conclusive beat through a living and concretely significant sign. It's concrete. So this Jupiter-Uranus in Taurus, Earth, it's tangible, it's literal. Here's Noah in the ark, it was the earth, it was the new earth, a new dispensation, and a concrete symbol that it was okay to come out, to begin anew. And in essence, this significant sign is a reward to the faithful. So this whole thing of Christmas can come early. It doesn't mean that it will be all the way out in April 20th by the time with the exact conjunction, that these elements will happen. So again, the unseen is imploring you. This is what they're saying to me in the moment. They are imploring us to think big and dream bigger. And it is not airy-fairy. It is that anything's possible. So don't play it small. Stop playing it small, because this is anything but small. Pluto in Aquarius, French and American revolutions, industrial revolution, not in 246 years. So, and look at that, look at the leaps forward that humanity took. Each one of us is a strand, a string, a grain of sand that is meant to show up in right spirit and receive those rewards, that reward to the faithful. Now, that's for the two, and then Jupiter on this, and this is very funny. So where Jupiter is on that natal chart, the degree is a fully decorated Christmas tree. The ability to create inner happiness in dark hours. It's not pretty in the world right now. It doesn't, the outward appearance, the illusion, and the illusion doesn't mean it's not happening, that it's not real and it's not happening. It is. The point is, it's the fact that everything is advancing. These things have to collapse in order for things to arrive. So a fully decorated Christmas tree. the ability to create inner happiness in dark hours. In northern or mountainous countries where the Christmas tree symbol took form, we find a contrast between the tree outside, bare and normally covered with snow, and the tree inside the home, loaded with decorations and gifts for the family. If we follow up the meaning of the preceding symbol, we see that snow has come outside, but the prepared and closely united group has created abundance, beauty, and happiness within, overcoming the cold barrenness of the outside world, just as man and womankind had overcome in a previous symbol, the natural obstacle to their progress. The Christ symbol is also included in the background, that is, the vivid faith in a transformed future. Master Jesus came with a message of love. He said the old law, that this message of love, this new covenant, supersedes the old covenant, the Old Testament, New Testament. It's that type of thing, and that this message of love was paramount. And let me just I'm going to bring in, this is an excerpt from it's the book, The Expected One, by author Kathleen McGowan. And she writes, "They assembled the following afternoon as planned for their meal together. Isa, his 12 chosen, and all of the Marys. The children stayed in Bethany with Martha and Lazarus. Isa began the evening with the ritual of anointment. This was his own version, a role reversal wherein he bathed the feet of each person in the room. He explained that this was to acknowledge each person as a child of God who had a special mission to preach the word of the kingdom. This word of the kingdom, love. In quotes, I have given you this example that you will do to others what has been done here to you, that you will acknowledge others as your equals under God. And a new commandment I will give you this night, that you will love each other the way I love you. For when you go out into the world, I would have people recognize that you are Nazarenes by the way you love each other." When he had bathed the feet of each follower in the room, Isa led them to the table for the Passover supper. See, there's a profound message here. There's a profound reminder that the new covenant, that the new dispensation, and we're going to move beyond this dispensation. There's one that follows it. However, the point is to remember that love is the current covenant, is the current dispensation. And thereby, where are we meeting that? Where are we failing to meet it? And the need to rise to it, and that it doesn't come through another. It is not that two halves make a whole. It is not that form of love. It is the understanding that we are whole and complete as we are divine love, and that when we go about our business, it's naturally apparent. We don't have to speak it or shout it or prove it or demonstrate it. It speaks for itself. It's self-evident. Last, with this think big, dream bigger, the Jupiter-Uranus, the degree of Uranus is wisps of wing-like clouds streaming across the sky. The awareness of spiritual forces at work. This symbol concludes a process having experienced which the individual should find themselves more securely established in their own original nature, meaning you are more established in your soul, self, divine nature. Receiving the, quote, blessings of supernatural forces. Welcome, Olivia. And so we can see here this constant thing, this rewards to the faithful, blessings of supernatural forces, higher octave of love, because we're so down in the trenches. The unseen is saying to me in this moment, like, when we look outwardly and we look at the world around us, the absolute chaos and destruction and, hate and oppression and this cleaving and clinging to power, we forget ourselves. We forget that we are in this covenant of love. And love, divine love, celestial love, godly love, higher octave love. And when we operate from that place, divine blessings, Christmas comes early. It's rewards to the faithful. That is the message that the unseen is giving us. They next came to, bringing back up the chart, they came with this message that the next thing the unseen said was, it's the song from Adele, Rolling in the Deep. We could have had it all. And this has to do with, if you look kind of at the top left of the chart, you'll see Mars is at 0 degrees, Pluto is at 0 degrees in Aquarius, Mercury is at 13 degrees, and the Sun is at 24 degrees. These 4 planets are in Aquarius. And so this rolling in the deep, we could have had it all. And they separated Mars, Pluto, and Mercury. Those 3 go together, and then the Sun stands alone. And I want to bring up, I'm going to share my screen for a moment because I wanted to do this image justice. And so the Sun, and this is from Brigitte Ashwood's Luminous Tarot. This is the image that we had of the Sun. And again, note the divine feminine face, the female aspect of the Sun, of the life force in the image. All of the sunflowers. Here is the ingenue of us, are in our most purest form, atop the white horse, the horse of purity, the purple, denoting royalty, the red mantle, and it's number 8 that the unseen gave us for this week. The red denotes love, devotion, sacrifice, passion. It is the red mantle that was worn by Master Jesus, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene. And look at how stunningly beautiful this is on the triumphant pole, this beautiful red mantle. And the radiating that anything is possible. Remember from many shows back, the ideal becomes the new reality. And here's this image of all those radiant sunflowers. And we see this same imagery on the Sun card, radiating out. And it's almost, look at the face, the divine feminine face there, and she's like, it's like she's just getting ready. She has this all-knowing look, and she's just getting ready to speak, like to whisper, to speak, to release these radiant blessings. That is the takeaway from that card. And so they have these images. So let me go back. So with the chart, all day long, Mars and Pluto, so Mars is conjunct Pluto, and it is the old Adobe mission in California, the power inherent in all great human works to endure far beyond the worker's lifespans. And this is about the concretization of an ideal. The ideal becomes the new reality. It simply is. All of the personal planets, Pluto moving forward into Aquarius, all of it is saying to us, this new dispensation, this new direction, it is the concretization of that ideal, of that truth. Mercury, a train entering a tunnel, the ability to shortcut the process of natural evolution by the exercise of will, mental skill, and physical discipline. This says to me, it's Mercury, how we think, ego, mind, personality, how we think, how we communicate and everything. A train entering a tunnel, and it's the ability to shortcut. It means we're going to leapfrog. And remember, we had that back in some shows ago, that leapfrog forward. Here it is. In this symbol, we see a condensation of what is implied in the 3 preceding ones. Man, womankind must be inspired by a vision of what is possible for them to achieve. See, it's about what's possible. We can do this. They have organized, they have to organize a schedule of necessary activities if the work is to be done in terms of successive moves, each requiring a specialized type of skill or strength. They have to find propitious time for beginning the work. The end result is an acceleration of the evolutionary process, whether at a psychobiological level, that of like yoga and other disciplines, or at the social level, the level at which, in its external aspects, civilizations proceed. This is an advancement. This is saying Think big, dream bigger. We can do this. It is omnipresent. Here it is. And we leapfrog forward. This symbol presents a picture of what can be achieved by a combination of social and cultural and even personal techniques. It implies penetration, that we penetrate the illusion. We penetrate beyond what we see to what we know. And what we know is it's a feeling. It's not in our ego, mind, personality. It's in our heart chakra, our soul center. It's in our sternum. And lastly, the sun. And they had separated the sun. A butterfly with the right wing more perfectly formed. The capacity to develop the rational and fully conscious aspect of the mind ahead of normal evolution. What this is saying is this is a strong process where the right side of the organism, and when you know about mind, so left brain, right brain is the emotion, the divine feminine, the nourishing, the creative, and it's represented by the spiritual body of the butterfly. A strong process of conscious individualization is suggested, perhaps at the expense of the instinctual emotion aspect, the personality. It's the left side. So this symbol is saying that the right side, right direction, right choice, the right side, that intuitive aspect will overcome the ego, mind, personality, the left brain aspect. We need both of them, but we need to shift the balance in order to get us back into harmony, back into balance. This last symbol concludes as a transmutation of emotional energies. It means we overcome the emotions, the ego, mind, personality that's causing the emotions. We transmute that and we come into a state of resonance and balance and wholeness and harmony. Next step, they said, number 4, bringing up the chart again. And bear with me, I know this is a little bit technical, this one, but it's also so permeated and fixated on a higher love. That's what's coming through. So when we look at this, we go opposite the wheel. On the far right side, you'll see 2 symbols. The lower one that looks like a scythe is Lilith, and the one just above it is the south node, what we're leaving behind. And what they said is, anchored in wisdom, Lilith, liberated in truth, south node. And remember that beautiful saying about, the truth speaks for itself. The truth eventually comes out. So there's this piece about liberated in truth. What we're releasing, we will be liberated through truth, that the truth prevails, the truth comes forward. And that speaks to the soul. It needs no explanation. It just is. It transcends ethnicity and sexuality and country and labels and all of these masks and identities. It transcends them all. And we are liberated through that. The Sabian symbol for Lilith, a fine lace handkerchief, an heirloom from valorous ancestors, the quintessence of deeds well done. Root strength produces beautiful flowers. Soul source strength, root strength, produces beautiful flowers. We act with discrimination and determination, following in the footsteps of predecessors, and we receive a symbolic prize from the brotherhood, ready to welcome them when they have fully proven themselves on the battlefield where they meet the past, which tries to block the way. See, this is what's happening. As above, so below. Look what's happening. The past is trying to block the way of the future. The mystic beloved hands him what she has woven for him out of spiritual threads. What this scene speaks to, and this symbol speaks to, it ends the symbols which bring out the ultimate validity of the many efforts of generations of humankind toward the building of a beautiful and significant culture, standing on the shoulder of giants. This is that culmination point. This is that point where it's anchored in wisdom, liberated in truth. That the man of culture, the man-woman of culture, is in the deepest and best sense of the term, the aristocrat, divine, noble, noblesse oblige. They are the flowering of a line of ancestors who have accepted responsibility for a group or community. Master Jesus came forward. Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, the apostles, all of them came forward at a time to advance human society. We stand on the shoulder of giants, this lineage of ancestry. Likewise, the true, quote, disciple is the blossom that crowns a long series of incarnations. So this is really about the next iteration of all of us, the next iteration of humanity, and how we're leapfrogging forward, we're advancing. Not everyone will choose to do so. That just is. That's just truth. So it's a personal choice. It's an individual choice, which becomes a collective choice of advancement or stagnation. The arc of destiny moves forward. The South Node, what we're releasing. A gang of robbers in hiding protest against disharmonic social privilege. So this literally speaks to the fact that a group must be formed and there's a group protest. So see again, just to go back to the point of, and this speaks about Robin Hood and so forth, but it's right order, it's right choice, and it's this protest against disharmonic social privilege. What are we releasing? What are we rising up against? What are we advancing away from? Disharmonic social privilege. That's ego, mind, personality. I'm entitled to it. The rules don't apply. It's about me. South Node. And this group of protesters, this 8 billion souls on the planet, and the majority, what the unseen is saying to me is and the majority of them choosing to rise up against, to protest against, and to advance away from, to move beyond disharmonic social privilege, injustice, imbalance, oppression, suppression, control, all of these shadow elements that are the antithesis of love. Last but not least, we have number 5 on the chart. And number 5, it says, it's the song from Pat Benatar, and they said, we're running with the shadows of the night. The shadows represent Neptune. And they said, so we're running with the shadows of the night. That's Neptune. So baby, take my hand, we'll be all right. That's Saturn. So you can see Saturn's just below the sun. It's at 7 degrees Pisces, and Neptune is at 26 degrees Pisces. And so this whole aspect of Neptune, we're running with the shadows of the night. It speaks to the fact that we can't see the whole picture. We can know it, we can feel it, but it's yet to actually play out in totality. And so we're running in the shadows of the night. And Neptune can have, to do with illusion and so forth. So the Sabian symbol, the harvest moon illumines a clear autumnal sky, the light of fulfillment that blesses work well done. See these blessings again, that we're getting these blessings, that it has to do with what we cultivate or what we fail to cultivate. And this symbol has to do with a karmic moment. The seed of the new cyclic manifestation is already latent. See, the seed is already present. It's coming into bloom, full, this harvest. And so one could say that because this is a autumnal full moon symbol, that come fall, these latent seeds, this new cyclic manifestation, will bear fruit. I'll leave you to think about what that means. Connect the dots. And remember, that's of a quality or state existing, but not yet developed or manifest, hidden or concealed. But things preceding this are going to be revealed. They're going to be healed, and a new direction occurs. With Saturn, we have a girl blowing a bugle, and Saturn's the great teacher. A call to participation in the service of the race as an evolutionary crisis approaches. So see, we're being called forth. Remember from from last week's show, God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. He, she. So we're being called forth to play our role. And this symbol, the picture presents another aspect of the emotional relationship between the individual and the collectivity of human beings. It can also be related to the old feminist movement or the present woman's liberation. Here it is, right on time. It's a part of the divine feminine being revered, respected, returning and taking her rightful place. She does not need a divine masculine's permission. She is equal and whole and sovereign. And we are being called forth to advance to that new dispensation, that era of equality in existence, of love. In traditional symbolism, the woman refers more specifically to the biological and psychic aspect of human life. She is seen primarily as the mother and or the intuitive or psychic. Mothers know. Mothers always know. When I was a child, I did this little thing. I went and got an orange, put it in my pajama pocket, and was walking to go back upstairs thinking I was also sly and whatever. And I was on 3 steps and my mom said to me, she's facing the other way. I'm coming from behind her. And she says, James, go put that back. And I stop and I'm in my head, I'm in shock. I've got it hidden in my pajama pocket. I mean, now, of course, child's brain, how could she possibly know? When I asked her how she knew, she said, I have eyes in the back of my head. I was 5, maybe 4 or 5. I go put it back. The next day I ask if I can brush my mother's hair. And I start doing this in the back of her head. And she says, what are you doing? And of course I reply, I'm looking for the eyes in the back of your head. This epitomizes for me the all-seeing eye, that wisdom, that the divine feminine, that mothers know. They always know. They have such an instinctual knowing, and certainly with their children and loved ones, and with the greater whole. So this is speaking to this symbol that is for Saturn, a girl blowing a bugle, speaks to this psychic knowing, this intuitive knowing. A new race of human beings may well be slowly unfolding some of their potential of consciousness and fulfillment. It's coming to be. The individual who envisions this evolutionary development sounds the call. He or she is both seer, herald, and mutant. In that sense, such a human being is both an individual, true to their calling, to their original nature, and a dedicated person. Dedicated to the future he or she holds in latency, as does a seed in mutation. It's within us. It's already there and present. We're ready to leap forward. At this stage, it blends the preceding ones into a whole, and it says tomorrow acts through today. It summons humankind to rebirth. So it's about being it now. We're not waiting for something to happen. It's be it now It's already within us, and then we advance, we move forward. Number 6, dream the impossible dream. This is from the Man of La Mancha. And I just want, because this is so beautiful. There we go. The impossible dream. The central tenet of Don Quixote, who is from the Man of La Mancha, from both the book and the play. One must live life in a genuine way, passionately, in spite of what other people think. The Impossible Dream, The Quest, is the most popular song from the 1965 Broadway musical Man of La Mancha. The song talks about following your dreams that seem like they would never be achievable, to do what's right and to be willing to go through hell itself to reach your ultimate goal, which is referred to as the unreachable star. So remember from last week, death on the left, sun, rebirth, to go through hell itself, to be reborn, to reach that unreachable star. And it's to remember all along that unreachable star on the right side of the screen there's the star card with that unreachable star. And yet it's divinely inspired. It's divinely possible. The magician is on the left. We have everything we need. Of course it's possible. The song reveals Quixote's longing to right all wrongs, however difficult the odds against him may be. So the unseen is saying to us, dream the impossible dream, because it is possible. Think big, dream bigger. Stay in harmony and balance with your faith and belief, and knowing that what is to be, what is to come, is already latent in us. It's already present. It is manifesting. And thereby, we need not be caught up in the trickery, in the illusion of the past. It's the past for a reason. We've been there, done that. We're not doing it again. Number 7, they said, as above, so below. You must now choose your own master. So this is a famous statement and saying about who is the master you serve. Am I serving my soul source connection, my divine self, my divine nature, my original nature? Is that the master that I am aligned with and that I serve? I go as guided. Or am I succumbing to an earthly master, an ego mind personality master, an illusion, a falsity, a mask, a label, an identity master that does not serve me well, or served me for the point that it was necessary? But now I have a choice, because they're saying, as above, so below. You must now choose your own master. So they're saying to us, the unseen is saying to us, now is the time. Let me bring up 2 of our quotes, and this is so beautiful. This first one is, truth fears nothing but concealment. It's a Chinese proverb. And this so reminds me of Beauty and the Beast and the rose, the magical rose of love, encased in the glass. And this truth fears nothing but concealment. And yet the truth of this is, whatever form love takes, free it. Do not conceal it. And in the purity of it, remember, it's the purity. In Beauty and the Beast, or in Snow White, or any of these fairy tales, it was the purity of love, the purity of a kiss that released love, truth, from its concealment. And yet here we have this square glass vase concealing the rose, and yet you can see right through it. So what this says to us is, see, we know the truth. Our heart, our soul knows the truth. We know who we love. We know what we love. We know why we love them, or what it may be. Truth fears nothing but concealment. And yet it's an oxymoron, because it's not really ever concealed. It's It's easily visible. We just have to choose to face the truth and release from the place of purity that love. Allow it to flourish. Our second quote is, when you open, all obstacles immediately disappear. When you learn not to contend with others, you no longer contend with the way. And this is by Carrie Hone at cafeosoul.com. And again, it's on a bed, if you will, a path of rose petals. Why? Because there's something magical and beautiful and loving about the ideal of love, the purity of love. And this, when you're open, obstacles automatically disappear. They dissipate, and we're not contending. We're not in challenge with the way. We're not in challenge with our souls. So as we move forward, there is a huge message. I'm bringing back up our main theme. Bring me a higher love. The unseen is imploring us. Bring me a higher love. Bring me a higher octave. Because love is in the air. This love is in the air. And they brought us these last two songs, and we'll close up everything. One of them is by the Carpenters. It's We've Only Just Begun. And the lyrics say, we've only just begun to live. White lace and promises. White lace, that's one of the Sabian symbols. White lace and promises. A kiss for luck, and we're on our way. We've only just begun. Before the rising sun, before the rising sun, we fly. So many roads to choose. We'll start out walking and learn to run. And yes, we've just begun. Sharing horizons that are new to us, watching the signs along the way, talking it over, just the two of us. Just the two of us, that can be your soul self, your soul source connection, the two of you. It can be within your relationship, your family, your friends, but talking it over, just the two of us. Working together day to day, together, unity, uniting. And when the evening comes, we smile. So much of life ahead. We'll find a place where there's room to grow. And yes, we've just begun. So we have that beautiful message coming through. And then we have this last one, which is about, it's the song by Queen. I believe it was in Moulin Rouge. It's titled, The Show Must Go On. Empty spaces. What are we living for? Abandoned places. I guess we know the score. On and on, does anybody know what we are looking for? Another hero, another mindless crime. Behind the curtain in the pantomime. Remember Oz behind the curtain in The Wizard of Oz. Hold the line. Does anybody want to take it anymore? The show must go on. Inside, my heart is breaking. My makeup may be flaking, but my smile still stays on. So this is about this beautiful message for all of us. There's a higher mission, there's a higher octave, there's a higher love, and we are all being called, we are being implored to take that higher road, to choose, if you will, that master. This new dispensation, this dispensation of love, so that it's self-evident. We don't have to preach it, we don't have to scream it, we don't have to prove it. If you're doing that, it demonstrates that you're not in concert with it. All you have to do is be it. Demonstrate it by your energy, your actions, your thoughts, your beliefs. Because that is, we are again advancing beyond that covenant dispensation. And so one can imagine, well, if we're going beyond the covenant of love, that's pretty, and we're talking higher octave love, godly love, celestial love. original love. What could possibly be greater than that? And that's what fascinates me. That's what just energizes me and intrigues me. Because what the unseen is saying to us is, you haven't seen nothing yet. It is literally that example that we've been using of color, technicolor, love, beyond love, uber. That's where we are. So thank you all. Happy, happy, happy Valentine's to everyone. I wish you all well, love, kindness, and beauty. And remember, whether you're single, together, whatever it may be, you are never alone, number one. You are never lost. You're always somewhere. And celebrate today on St. Valentine's Day. Celebrate love in its highest form. Random acts of kindness, interaction with yourself, with your soul self. Celebrate love, its highest octave. Celebrate it. Enjoy it. And we will see you back next week.